So the trade-offs and imbalances, we need to spend a minute on that. So the questions that we asked are not abstract. They directly impact lives of our citizens. For nations still climbing the development ladder, the trade-offs are particularly acute between energy transition and energy security, between the imperative of growth and the urgency of sustainability. So these are questions which are hitting the common man's lives. Between the drive for innovation and the realities of the labor markets, rich with young populations, between attracting capital and the burden of high borrowing costs, between the demands of productive investments and the temptation of financialization. These trade-offs define our options. They're not easily resolved, yet they cannot be ignored. These trade-offs are accentuated in a world with trends desiring and with trends towards de-risking, decoupling, and hence slowing globalization. Globalization, economic integration, and immigration are not natural states of affairs. They can unravel under pressure as they have in the past. Today, we find ourselves in a shifting global landscape that resembles a zero-sum approach, in part, a consequence of the failures and limitations of the era of globalization that preceded it. So overlaying these in a world of profound imbalances, trade imbalances have hollowed out industries in some nations while creating overcapacity in others. Financial imbalances have concentrated wealth in speculative sectors while depriving the real economy of investment. Energy imbalances have made some societies chronically dependent on costly imports, even as others subsidize their industries with cheap, carbon-intensive power. Net zero commitments pursued with regard to trade-offs risk driving up costs for developing economies while constraining their growth. These imbalances have become structural features of our world, distorting incentives, fueling political discontent, and so on. So the task before us, therefore, is not simply to manage uncertainty, but to confront imbalances. We must ask ourselves, how can we build a global order where trade is fair, finance serves productive ends, energy is both affordable and sustainable, and climate action aligns with development imperatives? How can international institutions be reformed to reflect today's realities rather than yesterday's hierarchies? And crucially, how can the voices of developing nations, no longer marginalized in rulemaking, be amplified in shaping the future? The choices we face are stark, and already we see efforts to reimagine the global financial system itself. Innovations like stable coins are transforming the landscape of money and capital inflows. These shifts may force nations to make binary choices, adapt to new monetary architecture, or risk exclusion. Such developments underscore the scale of transformation which is underway. They also remind us that no nation can insulate itself from the systemic changes. Whether we welcome these shifts or not,